Hello everyone, welcome to a Psalm for today. Your reassuring voice that Jesus is Lord. I came back down to the Siloam area of Bangkok for several reasons. One, I enjoy it very much. Two, right down the street is my favorite street food lady who makes a super hot chicken dish. I don't know what it's called, but kind of kung pao chicken flavor. But on a scale of 1 to 10, it's a 10. So my lips are burning, but just really enjoyed that. And I wanted to get out of the house. The last several days, I've been assisting 3 local pastors in their personal goal setting, their questions, responding to questions about pastoring, and blessing them through the Second Curve Coaching Pastor Encouragement Ministry. Thank you to all of you that invest in Pastor Encouragement Ministry. We're able to do wonderful and kind things for pastors. Those of you that have supported, I will send a report in a couple of weeks so you can see the things that we've done. One of my buddies said, "You know, Ken, I don't think it's fair to call Go Ye into All the World Go Ye into All the World when all you do is vacation." I'm on a tourist visa. My guests are on a tourist visa. So on Facebook, we put tourist things. We aren't on a religious workers visa. We don't have the right to work here. So we report in on our tourist activities. Hopefully you understand what's rolling with that. This week, we are talking about resilience in the Psalms. We are talking about the get back up ability. We are talking about the bounce back ability. In other words, how human beings can develop flexibility around virtually anything. We are complex and have the capacity to bend and shift around a variety of obstacles. And the Lord knows that. And when these things come into our lives, we continue to practice resilience. Resilience is a key concept in trauma healing. Trauma-informed ministry is intended to not re-traumatize people, but it's also designed to initiate post-traumatic healing. And those of you that have trauma in your life, we have good news. Healing is possible, healing is available, and in Jesus, healing is likely. And we celebrate post-traumatic healing. We selected Psalm 92 as our first text for resilience. Yesterday, we talked about Psalm 92 is a psalm for Sabbath, and that Sabbath rest is crucial for bounce-back-ability. When you are depleted and you have violated Sabbath for year after year after year, don't blame God when your system can't bounce back. Don't blame God when you're worn out and shot. It's our fault for not following Sabbath rest. Psalm 92, the subscript is a psalm for Sabbath day. In fact, it is the only psalm that directly states it is a psalm for Sabbath day. Then we went to the end of the psalm where it says that the righteous will thrive, the righteous will flourish, the righteous will have resilience like a palm tree. Today, we continue the concept by talking about how that Sabbath rest includes thanksgiving. It is good to give thanks unto the Lord. The psalm opens. It is good to give thanks unto the Lord. In my doctoral work, I'm doing a tiny bit of brain studies. I've learned just a little bit about neural networks. I've learned about how gratitude actually has its own neural pathway in the brain. Gratitude has its own circuit, one scholar said. But when you activate that circuit, when you activate that neural network, it connects the frontal lobe with the hippocampus, the amygdala. It connects various parts of the brain and actually produces huge physical benefit, and I'm only guessing huge spiritual benefit. We know mental benefit. I'm calling this positive plasticity. The idea that your brain can develop new neural networks connected to the gratitude network is very positive. Positive plasticity. Your brain, every time you learn something new, a new neural pathway is created. When you solve two big issues that demand high-level thinking each day, and you deal with small issues that require low-level thinking, and you apply it to your life, these connect massive neural networks in your brain. So, first of all, what are the little things that require little thinking on my part? What are the two big things I'm going to do this day that require complex thinking skills? Then how will I apply this to my life is a huge strategy for brain health. Additionally, we know that the brain needs 5-minute brain breaks 5 times a day. We want you to take 5 times a day where you turn off everything and let your brain rest. This allows the neural networks to reset. For example, a major neural network is called the default mode network. It allows your brain to do things on default without cognitive strain. And so the default mode network, give it a break 5 times a day for 5 minutes. Let it just shut down, preferably in a medium to dark room without any noise, just to sit quietly. Then we know that 7 creative things are good for the brain each day. 7 creative things that you've never noticed before, preferably in nature. The brain seems to do best when it's outdoors, noticing things it has never noticed before. Today, the neural network I feature is the gratitude network. Gratitude is wired in, it has its own circuit in the brain and body. Do you know that evidence is when you practice gratitude, your immune system becomes more robust? When you practice gratitude, your immune system becomes energized. It becomes further stabilized. And it's funny, during COVID, I didn't hear anyone say, so every morning give thanks and every night give thanks. The science that I've read suggests that you give thanks for something you were able to do for somebody today, and you give thanks for something that somebody did for you today. These are the 2 measurements of gratitude that we want you to have in the morning and in the evening. Secondly, somebody did this nice thing for me, and I was able to do this nice thing for somebody. When you're able to connect that in writing in the morning and writing in the evening, the brain is the happiest it could possibly be. So, think about those things in your life that happened today. Who did something very special for you? Write that down in your gratitude journal. Who has done something very special to you in your life? Write that down in your gratitude journal. And who have you been able to do something super nice for today? Write that down in your gratitude journal. The psalmist was way before modern science, but the psalmist was not way before the revelation of the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit clearly led the psalmist to say, on Sabbath day, it is good to give thanks unto the Lord. In fact, perhaps every day is Sabbath day in the New Covenant. I understand the 6th day and 7th day, and I've gone round and round in my thinking on that for years. However, today is the day, it is good on this day to give thanks to the Lord. And when you give thanks to the Lord on a day like today, you find yourself with greater motivation. You find yourself with greater flexibility. You find yourself with increased bounce-back ability. And you realize that you will flourish like the palm tree.